Purnamada, He is complete. And Purnamidam, what He has manifested, this world, is also complete. Somebody can question, how do you claim that this world is complete? There is suffering, there is misery, there is ignorance, so many wars, etc. going on, and you claim that the world is complete. Why is that so? This point should be heard very attentively. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. The Supreme Brahman is complete. This world, having emanated from Him, is also complete. Anything that the complete God manifests is complete as well. Having manifested the complete world, His completeness remains unchanged. A very, very simple word is being used here. Purna means full. It was probably deriving inspiration from this that the English poet Annie Sexton, she said, "And the well spoke to me and said, abundance is scooped from abundance. Abundance still remains. The well is abundant. From it you take abundance, and what remains is still abundant." Materialism creates the mindset of scarcity, where the available resources are a limited pie, and if another has more then I have less. So we fight over these, whether the resources are land or wealth or labor or power and position. Spirituality is the absolute reverse, where there is infinite abundance, and the more you give, the more you have. That abundance remains untouched. Let us understand the logic of this and the impact, the import of this mantra. It says, Purnamada, that source of the world, is complete, perfect and complete. And Purnamidam, this world that He has manifested, is also complete. Let us first understand the completeness of God. People say, what is His definition? In the Devi Bhagavad Puran, Maharshi Parashar has tried to answer this question in the 37th verse. He says, Aishwaryasya samagrasya dharmasya yashasa shriyaha jnana vairagya yoshchaiva shannam bhaga iti rana. He says God is He who has these 6 opulences to the infinite extent. Infinite wealth, infinite beauty, infinite knowledge, infinite fame, infinite strength, and infinite renunciation. So that personality who has these 6 opulences to the unlimited amount is the Supreme Divine. Although this is also a matter of expressing it, because God has not just 6 opulences, He's got uncountable virtues. Vedavyas had his take of it. So in the Srimad Bhagavat Mahapuran, he states, Yovanantasya gunananantan anukramishyan satubala buddhihi rajansi bhumer ganayet kathanchit kalena naiva akhila shakti dhamnah. He says, if anybody claims they will count the number of virtues and opulences of God, they possess a childish intellect. You ask the child, how big is the mountain? This big. And how big is the ocean? This big. And how big is the sky? This big. Likewise, anybody claiming to circumscribe God has that kind of intellect. Rajansi bhumer. You may succeed in counting the specks of dust on the crust of the earth. This impossible may become possible. But the qualities and attributes of God will never be counted. It is said that Ananta Shesh, on whom Vishnuji lives or resides, has got 10,000 mouths. And since the beginning of creation, he has been describing the personality of God. That narration has still not ended. The Greek writer Homer, along these lines, he said that if there were 1,000 musicians, each with 1,000 string instruments, and they were to sing for 1,000 years, they would be unable to describe God. That is just a little inkling into his personality. Saint Kabir's famous doha sabdharti kagaz karun. If I convert the crust of the earth into paper, likhni sab vanaraya, and all the trees into pens, Saat samudra ki maru karu, and the water in the 7 oceans as my ink, Hari guna kaha na jaya, I will still be incapable of describing God. So, Purnamada, he is complete. And Purnamidam, what he has manifested, this world, is also complete. Why is that so? So the logic it uses, this mantra, that if it has come from the complete source, it is complete in nature. Now out here, somebody can question, how do you claim that this world is complete? There is suffering, there is misery, there is ignorance, so many wars, etc. going on, and you claim that the world is complete. So the perspective is not that it is free from suffering. This point should be heard very attentively. God has not created the world such that it should be free from suffering. He has created it so that it is perfectly designed for its purpose of incubating the souls over a continuum of lifetimes and bringing them to the ultimate perfection. God has faith in His design. He has done it for infinite souls, and He is pretty confident He can do it for each and every one of us. So, in that process, sometimes Although the world presents us with a field of activities where we perform karmas, reap the results, get lessons, learn and grow, and at the same time, sometimes this world serves as a university of hard knocks. So, even in those adversities and challenges, there are opportunities. The kind of perfection that God wants us to reach is not a perfection where there is no disturbance, but where we can remain normal even in the midst of challenging circumstances. That kind of inner peace, the peace that surpasseth all understanding. You may have heard from me this example of a king who declared a painting competition, and the theme was to paint something that depicts peace, Shanti. From all the entries that were received, 2 made it to the final, and they were presented before the king. One of them was obviously manifesting tremendous serenity and harmony. It was of a valley with flowers and mountains in the background, and a gentle stream with deer and cows grazing by, a perfect cloudless sky, trees around. And the other painting presented a complete contrast. The sky had angry clouds with lightning breaking through. In fact, there was also rain falling. And the centerpiece of the painting was a waterfall, where the water cascading at tremendous force. Everything in that picture was disturbing. But when the king looked carefully, he saw that although the water was flowing over the waterfall, there was a little crevice there in the rocks, and a bird, having flown from behind the water, had made its nest there. It had brought food and was feeding its little chicks in the nest, unconcerned about everything around it. The king said this first painting is obviously very peaceful, but it's unreal. It never happens in the world. The second one is tremendous. This really depicts your ability to be peaceful. Peaceful from inside. Even though there may be disturbances on the outside. When you are agitated, what is your instinctive response? To change things on the outside. I need to shift from here to here. I need this person to behave like that. I need the weather to change. I don't need the weather to change, etc., etc. But God has created this perfect world for us to change. One monk, while he would travel all around, in the villages and the holy places in India, amongst the austere dwellings, had a proper mirror big enough to see his face. And from time to time, he would pull it out to look at his face. That caught the ire of a few devotees, and they said, Sadhu Babaji, you are supposed to be detached even from your looks. Why does it concern you so much that you keep pulling your mirror out again and again and having your own darshan? He said, I do it. Whenever there is agitation, whenever there is disturbance, I take the mirror out and remind myself of the biggest culprit, which is my mind itself. Me, the owner of the mind. That is what I need to change. Somebody said, when I was young, I thought I'll change the world. But then as I grew a little bigger, I thought I may as well change my country. And then I grew a little bigger, I thought if I can change my community, it will be ambitious enough. And then in my middle age, I thought, let me try changing my family. Now in my old age, I think I should have tried to change myself. There was a cartoon strip, Charlie Brown cartoon strip, that was of course very popular in the US but also in India. And we also grew up because we used to come from there. So Lucy said to Charlie Brown, I wish to change the world. Charlie Brown said, where would you like to start? Lucy said, I'd like to start by changing you. So, the idea is to change ourselves. That is why we are repeatedly, as we go through this Upanishad, we will understand the focus should be inner growth. And this world is a perfect design for that purpose. So in that design, pain also has an important role to play. It is just like the story of the timber that went to the Shilpi and said, please make me beautiful. The Shilpi said, I am ready. Are you ready? The wood said, of course I am. The sculptor started his work with the chisel, tuk, 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 tuk. And the wood said, what are you doing? The sculptor said, you want it to be beautiful. It's a painful journey. Okay, then do it, but do a little bit every day, not too much. Having received permission, the sculptor again began his work, thoka thaki, and the wood kept on complaining, enough for today, how cruel you are. But the work continued, and one day it became a beautiful deity of Lord Jagannath, and it got established in the sanctum sanctorum of the Jagannath Mandir, and subsequently pulled in the festival of chariots on the Rath. To become beautiful, it had to bear the austerity of pain. In our case, the purpose is to remove the ugliness from the inside. The anger, the greed, desire, etc. And for that purpose, pain also becomes a teacher, a necessary tool that is built into the perfect design of this world. Some of the earliest researchers on leprosy discovered that in this terrible affliction of leprosy, where people's limbs fall off, it is not the leprosy virus per se which leads to the decay, but it removes the sensation of pain. And without that sensation, they keep on hitting their limbs wrongly in places which damages them. So likewise, God that has kept a pain as an indicator there's something wrong. That is why the popular saying in English, pain is inevitable, misery is an option. You can't do away with pain, but whether you wish to become miserable over it or not is the choice you will make. If you are wise and have these tools and resources of the knowledge of the Upanishads, you will change your perspective to it. So, the mantra states that he is perfect and complete. The world manifested from him is also perfect and complete. This violates the laws of physics, where you have conservation of mass and conservation of energy. So if energy is removed from one place, that place has less. Out here it says that no difference is made to the completion of God. He is that complete. And what about the souls in this world? We have also emanated from him. So when he says Purnamada Purnamidam, this is complete. We souls are also in this world. Are we also complete? Not from our perspective. Oh, I've got so many problems, I'm such a fallen soul. But from the perspective of God, we are also perfect and complete where we are. It is like the child in the mother's womb who is 6-7 months old. The limbs are not fully developed, but the child is kicking and the mother says, perfect. My baby is perfect. Now you may say, what perfection? But in that position, it is perfect. And it's going to progress from there. Likewise, we may be in a sinful state right now. But God tells us, hate the sin. Don't hate the sinner. That sinner also has a perfect soul, a potentially perfect soul. I have read a Buddhist story about when the Buddha met an extremely depraved person with his disciples, and they were deprecating and condemning of him. The Buddha announced to them, 40 lifetimes ago, I was also like that person. So, in God's grand design, all the souls will be brought to perfection one day.